Hey everybody, welcome to the N.A.R.C.N network. Hope you guys are having a good day. Today we're going to be presenting episode 240, and this is part 2 of episode 240, the title of which is Why Must Narcissists Keep Lying? Now, in part 1 of this episode, we discussed a lot of the triggers for narcissists that cause them to lie, that are related to abuse that goes on with the narcissist. And this can be physical abuse, it can be neglect, it can be sexual abuse, just any abusive behavior that has conditioned the narcissist into their self-protection bubble mode that they kind of exist in, where they are compelled to lie to keep everybody in the dark and keep information about them aloof, and so that nobody knows what's particularly going on. But here in part 2, we're going to talk about how a narcissist gets created like this and why they lie, based on things that form a narcissist to do this that aren't of necessarily an abusive nature. And when I say things that are not of an abusive nature, we're talking about when you raise young children or adolescents, and they have very little rules or criteria to follow as far as what they can do and what's expected of them in life. And that is to say that they're not watched very carefully by their parents or by their guardian. When they do things they shouldn't do, there is no punishment or adjustment done to the behavior to condition that behavior away from being destructive or negative in any particular way. When you raise children with like no rules and no ramifications for things that they do that are negative, be it bad behavior, be it doing something they shouldn't be doing, when you bring up a child like this, they have no format to follow as far as what they should be behaving like, or what conditions of that behavior are acceptable in society, or in the family dynamic, or even in the dynamic with just other human beings around them. And sometimes children will develop this thing where they really just don't care, because when they do something bad, they're not punished appropriately. And when they're not punished appropriately, they will lash out, and they will be abusive to people in their language with individuals. They will be abusive in their behavior to people, because they are not being taught that there's a right way and a wrong way to behave with individuals. And of course, you can't expect very young children to understand this. Or babies, they don't understand this till a certain point. But once they start to get a little bit older, if their behavior is very extreme, and again, we're not talking about children here who may have some reason that their behavior may be off. There are many instances where children can have learning disorders and other types of things that affect their behavior. And if the child has something of this nature, then there's a real reason why their behavior might be off. But if there is no reason like that going on, and they are just relatively what seems to be normal, but they're acting out or lashing out or doing something in some particular way that they shouldn't be doing, and there is no correction going on with these children to get them on the right path of what is acceptable and what is not with other individuals around them, this can form a child that has like a golden child syndrome, and they can do no wrong. And they're given, again, another thing that can affect this also is if you just give a child everything that they want. Children have to be said no to every once in a while. You have to tell your children, no, you can't do this, or something they want to do in life like this, and you can't really afford that, perhaps, in a family dynamic. You don't make enough money for something like this, and sometimes you have to say no to children in instances. It forges character in that person, and it also forges a thing or sometimes that child will do something else, especially if they're in their teens, if they want to, you know, suddenly be on a baseball team, but being on the baseball team is quite expensive. Maybe they'll go out and get a little secondary job doing something that helps them pay for their for the things that they want to do or the things that they want to own, and this is part of the conductivity we do with children that forms them into being good human beings. But not all children are like this. I mean, we have the Narcissistic Expert HG Tutor on the network, on the YouTube network, and he has a channel, and on his channel, if you look, he talks all about having been a golden type child who got everything that he wanted. There was no discipline really in his life. His parents were around, but they were not, you know, paying much attention to him. They are not the ones who took care of him in life. He had like nannies and stuff like this to take care of him. So he was able to literally do what he wanted and just about all the time. And you know, if he wanted a pony, he got a pony. If he wanted something else, it was given to him right away. Whatever he wanted was basically what he got. He got his own way all the time. When he did something that wasn't very nice, he didn't really get disciplined for it because his parents didn't discipline him. The nanny didn't discipline him. He was basically given sway as to whatever he wanted to do with people and whatever way he wanted to behave. And this has turned him into a narcissist. Why? Because this is what this type of lack of adjusting a child into the right type of behaviors and stuff, or discipline and these other things, this is what this does for children in a constructive way. And when I say discipline, I'm not talking about, you know, smacking the crap out of your child or anything of this nature. You don't need to do that. But setting them off in the right direction, giving them an explanation why they can or can't do something, giving them the right direction for something, these are all things that if you don't give this to a child, they will grow up having a bit of a silver spoon in their mouth, and this can be a danger because this creates narcissists as well too. It also creates individuals who will think that they can do whatever the hell they want, and that there's no ramifications for this. And we see this rampant in society currently, because there are tons of things we see on social media and on YouTube and on other video applications where children are just doing whatever the hell it is they want because they have absolutely horrid constructive direction in their life. And this lack of direction and lack of molding a child into a positive human being is what creates a narcissist. And this is the other thing that can actually control when you have a narcissist around you and they're a liar. Because commonly when children have no direction, or not told that you can't lie and you can't steal and you can't do things of this nature, you can't be abusive to other children, you can't be abusive to people who are around you, adults or whatever, they will just do whatever, and they will think that that's okay, and therefore they will also think that telling lies and deceiving people and doing things of this nature because they have nobody to answer to is okay as well too. And this is why we get individuals who become narcissistic liars as well from this type of conditioning. And this is kind of the opposite to when we have an abuse thing going on. In a way, this lack of conditioning to children is also abuse in itself, because children do need to have attention. They need to have the correct type of attention to form them into the individuals they need to be in adulthood and to learn the things that they need to learn. But sadly, lots of children don't get this, and it turns them into narcissistic liars that propagate this into their adulthood with people and think they can do whatever they want. They can lie to people, they can go off, they can, marry their spouse and cheat on their spouse, and they don't have to make the spouse aware of what they're doing because they don't have to answer to anybody. But the reality is we all have to answer to somebody in the end. And moreover than that, we have to answer to ourselves. So if we're being shitty people, that's not a good thing. However, narcissists a lot of the time don't care that they're shitty people. They just care about their own desires and whatever it is they require in their life, and they don't care about who they run over in order to attain those things. And this is sadly one of the factors of narcissists and one of the things we have to deal with in narcissistic abuse. But this was the other particular point of why narcissists lie, and what I wanted to explain pertaining to the other reasons why narcissists develop these lying attributes with people. So this was basically the idea in part 2 here of episode 240. It's the other side of the coin as far as narcissists not developing their narcissism from straight out physical or emotional abuse or abuse of any other nature like that. So that's been episode 240. I'm just going to say I hope you guys stay tuned for other content coming up on the network. I hope you guys have had a great day. And I hope you have a great upcoming week. And I will catch you with some new videos coming up on the network very soon.